There was a time when everything was perfect. Or maybe I was just completely unaware of the direction my life was taking. Like Montag's Mildred, I had been bombarding myself with information to avoid actually being. I was numb. No, I was empty. All of the sand and beans had poured right out. I was sleepwalking through the minutes and hours, succeeding in making my life exactly what I wanted it to be, in control. Then I began to wake up. It began with the ridiculous missed payment on a cell phone bill. I'd gotten so caught up in making money that I forgot what I was making money for. Suddenly my phone, with all its smartness, was gone. I no longer had the whole fucking world buzzing in my pocket. The whole world moving with my fingers, creating and destroying, answering questions. Not having that for 30 minutes made me below average. Not having that for 2 hours made me fucking hate myself. And that was no fun. And to a lesser degree, I was awoken by my wife's proclamation, her small-minded manifesto, broadcast over a series of strategically placed Post-it notes. She was bored with her life. She was taking the kids to Chuck E. Cheese and then to some secret place. And then finally, in the kitchen, attached to the glass top of her last casserole, a perfect pink square read, "We won't be back. Heat on 350 for 30 minutes and enjoy." It took a few hours to ponder my situation and then quickly put my cell phone bill on auto pay. I found myself alone in the house, something I was not familiar with. There was an uneasiness about the silence. It was tangible, almost visible, and crept in slowly like the shadows of late afternoon. And so, I became familiar with the music hookups and television screens that occupied every room of my house. I would fill the silence with activity, programming, and information. I learned to navigate through every room of my house while watching the same goddamn movie. But the fake entertainment wasn't enough. I began ravenously searching for the truth. So for hours, I would move from room to room, back and forth between CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. I was looking for the truth. And eventually I found one. The truth was not there. I just became more confused. Nothing was clear. And so I gathered ebooks and searched sites. I tutored myself in yoga. I learned to pray to Jesus while driving. And I tried to do a little bit every day of what Buddha would do. Then I began working out with things that rocked, or things with springs, or things that hung from doors, or things that vibrated. I thought if I could confuse my muscles, I might be able to unconfuse my mind. But neither clarity or answers came from any source. I held a growing anger toward my wife. I had provided for my family. They had everything they wanted. My wife had been de-wrinkled, uplifted surgically. Her car had heated seats and told her how to get wherever she wanted to go. Hell, the two of us, we planned for long term, like escape routes, just in case. And every week I personally upgraded their virus software. I showered them with everything they needed, and she left me to fucking clean. Where was the appreciation? My previously lively social life began to collapse. Like some vibrant club that had grown tired, it became a place that no one wanted to go anymore. And so I took another step. Now it would all be for me. I would now shower myself with fun and gadgets. And so I fired some employees for cash flow, and I set up some others to be fired for profit. And I axed them with miles of fake regret because I wanted it, all of it, and I was going to get it. I was going to drive faster and something bigger, and I was going to tailgate everyone on my highway so they would know who was in charge. I was going to win this race, this goddamn race. Things with the company quickly deteriorated. The board eventually overtook my position, fearing that my mood, which had grown so terrifying only the untalented and feeble-minded remaining, would cripple the company without any help or opportunity for profit. But the loss of position didn't slow me down. It just increased my need for speed. Faster and faster. And just when I was getting up to 10,000 fucking miles an hour, the storm came. You know, the one last week that ripped the power lines into the trees like rubber bands on broccoli. Ripped them to the ground. Howling wind, crashing limbs, sparks, darkness, emergency lights, batteries draining. Oh, so slowly. It was in those last 7 days, as each device lost its charge, as each screen went to black, as each portal to the world lost its bars to flashing red. It was in those nights that I felt the silence so clearly. Those shadows were so long and deep. It was in those nights, lit by the last of the emergency candles, that I felt the first wave of it. Something far off, like a shadow or a black tide. The silence had opened the door to it. The silence had opened the door to it, and I knew it was coming here. It was heading this way to... But damned if I was going to focus on it, think about it. So I just kept going. Faster and faster, and all the while, the whole goddamn thing was slowly collapsing behind me. So I closed off windows, closed off rooms. I was trying to keep it out or in. I'm still not sure. Eventually, I ended up here in the attic, sleeping in my pile of favorite blankets. You see, I had grown to detest the comfort of my own bed. It reminded me of her. But all in all, everything was fine. Everything was fine. And then three nights ago, I remember, because I could hear soft rain falling on the roof. And there was something else. I remember because I could hear soft rain falling on the roof, but it was something else there, something walking, clamoring like a cluster or a horde. And maybe it was the crows come again to roost and laugh at me. But no, it wasn't the crows. It was something worse. It was something worse, and I could see it in my head with its 1,000 legs. I could see it so clearly in my head with its 1,000 legs and 1,000 eyes. And then all at once I realized what it was. In a flash, I realized it was all those questions without answers, all of those answers without questions, and it had rustled me upstairs. The reality of the fact that it was my fears. My fears had rustled me upstairs like a mindless lamb. But I wasn't going to let it in. I was safe up here, high up. And then last night, I awoke to some dark thing crawling out of my head. Some dark thing crawling out of my head. I had passed out, my brain unable to take such pressure. And I just remember a tickle in my nostril, like a long-coming sneeze as it scuttled out with its 1,000 legs. I jolted up and it had crawled into the corner in the shadows by then. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it was a dream, right? It was just a dream. But I swear I saw it. And that was last night when that last piece of paper appeared, that last pink square appeared as if she had known that I would end up here. The little pink square lost its stick. And it fell from the ceiling like a spinning leaf. And it said boldly and neatly, as if written with a crisp new Sharpie, it said, "Try being still for a while. All we wanted was some time with you." And I screamed, "It's too late!" Did you hear it? I hear it. It's here. Look! You can see the prints of the creature's tight and pointed legs just outside the light. It's growing larger. It's growing larger because of the heat and the fear up here. I can hear scuttling. I'll just wait here in what light remains. I'll just wait here. And all the while the crows are calling. The crows are calling. Oh.